Today, we will continue with chapter number 2, Life Processes Part 1 of Science 2, where we will study about another cell division process, which is called meiosis. And with that, we will complete this chapter. Remember, after completing this chapter, we will not move back to Science 1. The next chapter that we will study will be chapter number 3, Life Processes Part 2, in which we will study about one more life process, just one more, which is reproduction. Just like the previous sessions for Life Processes Part 1, this session will also have a lot of information. This session will also have a lot of information which is not there in the textbook, unfortunately, but the questions are there at the end of the chapter. So have your textbooks ready, pencils, pens, notebooks also ready. We will do three main things in the session now. There will be a short quiz. Questions will come on your screen and you will type the answer in the chat box. Then we will study about meiosis. This will take the longest time of the session. While we are studying about meiosis, please make annotations in your textbooks. Finally, we will compare and contrast. We will compare and contrast mitosis and meiosis. We will understand how they are similar and how they are not similar, what differences are between them. This is a very important aspect of this chapter. So be ready. And to answer the questions that will come to your screen now, it's perfectly fine if you refer to your textbooks or notebooks, but not your guides. Be ready? Here comes the first question. You can speak, you can type. Which types of cells undergo mitosis? I will just call out the correct answers and I will not get into the wrong answers. So we discussed that there are three types of cells, mainly stem cells, germ cells, and somatic cells. So it is the stem cells and the somatic cells that divide by mitosis. Stem cells and somatic cells. Thank you. Next question. In this question, a characteristic will be given, a feature, a clue will be given, and from that you will have to identify which phase of mitosis it happens in. First one. Centrioles duplicate. When does this happen? I hope you remember the 4 phases of mitosis. So this happens in one of the 4 phases. What is that phase called? Correct, it is prophase. Very good. Next, spindle fibers are formed. Spindle fibers are formed. When does this happen? In which phase of mitosis? Once again, correct, metaphase. The correct answer is metaphase. Next question. Centromeres split. When does this happen? When do the centromeres of the chromosomes split? Very good. Another correct answer, anaphase. Fill in the blank. In plant cells, dash is formed during cytokinesis. Something new is formed in plant cells. What is that? Very good. Correct answer. Cell plate. A cell plate is formed during cytokinesis. Excellent answer. Next question. Each cell divides into dash cells in mitosis. Each cell. So every cell, one cell, divides into how many cells in mitosis? That is what you have to fill the blank with. Very good. Very good, Anushka. 2 cells. Right? Each cell divides into 2 cells in mitosis. Number 5. Number of chromosomes increases, decreases, or remains the same in mitosis. They remain the same. Good. So this was one way of revising what we have studied in mitosis. It happens in somatic cells and stem cells. It starts with the prophase, where the chromosomes condense and centrioles duplicate. Then the chromosomes align along the equatorial plane, and they are joined to the centrioles through spindle fibers in metaphase. Those spindle fibers split the chromosomes along the centromeres, and the sister chromatids move to the opposite poles in anaphase. And in the final phase, telophase, nuclear membrane reappears around the daughter chromosomes, and nuclear division, karyokinesis, is complete, which is followed by cytokinesis, which in animal cells starts with a notch, but in case of plants, it starts with a cell plate. Whatever kind of cell it may be, mitosis results in 2 cells from 1 cell, such that the number of chromosomes remains same. Something else doubles, and that is the nuclear material, the DNA material. But that duplication happens at this level of chromatids. That doesn't happen at the level of chromosomes. Very important thing to remember. With that, let us try understand what is this new or another method of cell division, which is called meiosis. Okay. I give you a warning and I give you assurance. Warning, this is much more complicated and it has more information than mitosis. Assurance, it's not difficult. Okay. I'll try my best to explain to you as easily as possible. Let us begin. So, meiosis occurs in 2 stages. Okay. Now, you will come across all these words. Sometimes we are saying steps, sometimes we are saying phases, sometimes we are saying stages. These words are interchangeable. These words are interchangeable, but understand how they are related to each other. In mitosis, it was just one mitosis. But in meiosis, there is meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. In meiosis 1, there is a karyokinesis and there is a cytokinesis. That is, first the nucleus divides and then the cytoplasm divides. And this meiosis, meiosis 1, is followed by meiosis 2, which also once again has a karyokinesis and a cytokinesis. That is, nucleus divides and then the cytoplasm divides. This is one big difference between mitosis and meiosis. So mitosis was only this much, right? 1 karyokinesis and 1 cytokinesis. But meiosis is 2 karyokinesis and 2 cytokinesis followed one after the other. And because there are 2 rounds of division, right? If there are 2 karyokinesis, if there are 2 cytokinesis, definitely there are 2 rounds of divisions. So this is a much more complicated process. How does it look like? So just like any other cells, the cell that will undergo meiotic division, that will also have a cell cycle, which will have an interphase, and then it will have a M phase. In the interphase, the same thing will happen. The number of chromatids will double. The number of chromosomes will remain same. In the meiotic phase, in the M phase, the division will happen in terms of using the method of meiosis, not mitosis. So there will be meiosis 1 and there will be meiosis 2. At the end, we will have 4 daughter cells, not 2. So see overall what is happening. We start with one cell in which the genetic material is already duplicated at chromatid level, not at the chromosome level. Now in meiosis 1, there are four phases, जैसे कि mitosis में होता था, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Let us not bog down by lot of new information. If we have to deal with more information, we need to keep connecting with what we have already studied. We know that in metaphase, chromosomes align along the equatorial plane. Same thing happens here in metaphase 1. In anaphase 1, they move to opposite poles. Same thing is happening in anaphase 1. In telophase, the one nucleus divides into 2. Yes, that is what has happened in telophase 1. Now, if we focus on these similarities, then we will have the mind space to understand the differences, which we will understand. Don't worry. So at the end of telophase, there will be a cytokinesis, which will produce 2 cells. These are the 2 cells which now become input to the next stage of meiosis, which is meiosis 2. So in meiosis 1, we call the stages as prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, and telophase 1. Input to meiosis 1 was a cell which came from interphase. One cell. At the end of meiosis 1, we have 2 cells. Those 2 cells enter meiosis 2, and each of them undergoes another karyokinesis and cytokinesis. So once again, this cell, which is at the top, it goes through prophase. Now this prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase are called prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, and telophase 2. Be careful how this 1 and 2 are written. They are not the 1, 2, 3 that we use in math. These are Roman numerals. And this is the only way. The notation that we use in coordinate geometry, it's the same notation. So each cell then goes into metaphase, where chromosomes align along the equatorial plane. It moves to anaphase, where the chromosomes split and the chromatids move towards the opposite poles. Then in telophase, each of the cells, each of the nucleus divides into 2 nuclei. At the end of that, there is cytokinesis, where each of the cells, so this one cell has split into 2 cells, this one cell has split into 2 cells. So if we compare from here to here, from interphase to the final output of meiosis, one cell has divided into 4 different cells, 4 daughter cells. Do you remember what kind of cells will undergo meiosis? What are those cells called? Definitely not somatic cells. Definitely not the germs. Definitely not the, what are the stem cells? So what are these cells? Germ cells. Correct, Prachi. So the cell that is in interphase here, which is in the beginning, that is a germ cell. And this one germ cell produces daughter cells, which are called gametes. Gametes. This is the overall thing that is happening in meiosis. We will understand in detail. But first, get an appreciation of how they are similar and how they are different. The individual steps, they look similar. Prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. But they are happening 2 times. It is happening in germ cells, and one germ cell is splitting into 4 gametes. If we look at meiosis 1 separately, we start with a germ cell which has undergone the duplication of the genetic material. It enters prophase, where the genetic material, the chromosomes condense, then they align along the equatorial plane, then they move towards the opposite poles, and then they separate into two different nuclei. Do you already see a difference between mitosis and meiosis? I see. There's one big difference here. There is no, I will not say. You tell me, how is this anaphase different from, how is the anaphase 1 different from the anaphase of mitosis? Just look at the picture. Compare the picture of anaphase of mitosis with the anaphase 1 of meiosis 1. There is a very, very big difference. It's staring in our face. It is screaming from the picture. All we need to do is look and listen. The biggest difference, excellent Chan. The biggest difference is in mitosis, the centromere split. But here, there is no splitting. The entire chromosomes are moving towards the opposite poles, right? So something different is happening, and not just something, a lot more is happening. That is what we are going to study now. But if you look at meiosis 2, and now you compare the prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase of meiosis 2 with the prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase of mitosis, I don't see any difference. Chromosomes condense, chromosomes line up along the equatorial plane, they split, they move to the opposite poles, and they divide. So meiosis 2 is same as mitosis. The details for meiosis 2 are same as mitosis. Whatever difference is, that difference, whatever differentiates meiosis from mitosis, is there in meiosis 1 and 1 only. Let us understand what those differences are. Also, let us understand what exactly is happening in meiosis 1. Just to ensure that all of us are using the correct terminology, once again, meiosis 1, just like mitosis, has 4 phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And to differentiate these phases from the phases of meiosis 2, we will call them prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, and telophase 1. Terminology. What exactly happens in them? Fasten your seat belts. More information coming your way. Prophase 1 is a very long process, and very important things happen here. Very, very important things happen. Prophase 1 itself is divided into 5 distinct steps. If you look at the diagram, which is given on page number 19 of your textbook, page number 19, figure number 2.8, meiosis part 1, you will see under prophase 1, it says 1 to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the details are not given. The first step of prophase 1 is called leptotene. Second one is called zygotene. Third one is called pachytene. Fourth one is called diplotene. And fifth one is called diakinesis. Leptotene, zygotene, pachytene, diplotene, and diakinesis. Leptotene is very normal prophase where the chromosomes condense. They become thicker. Zygotene, pachytene, diplotene is where the action happens. What is this action? The action starts by homologous chromosomes coming together and forming synapses. Synapses are places where the chromatids of homologous chromosomes are touching each other or crossing over each other. एक के ऊपर एक आ जाता है ऐसे. So zygote, what is happening in zygote? Main thing, synapses are formed between homologous chromosomes. Now, what are these homologous chromosomes? All organisms have even number of chromosomes. Human beings, it is 46. We say 23 pairs. So in each pair, the two chromosomes are of the same shape. They are of the same type. They have the same genes. And these are called homologous, ek jaisa, same shape. So these homologous chromosomes, which are already have the duplicated chromatids, they come together. And the chromatids are lying next to each other. They are crossing over. Synapses are formed. Ek ke upar ek. Then comes the stage of Pakitine. This is the most important step of prophase 1. And this is extremely important for the biodiversity that we see in this world. Not just in world, even in the human race, human species. The places where the synapses are formed, the places where the chromatids are lying on top of each other, they break at that place. And the segments are interchanged. In the diagram, it is made clear by showing the homologous chromosomes in different colors. One is in red, one is in blue. So this place here is the crossover place. And if you look carefully, the part of the red has now joined the part of the blue. And the part of the blue has joined part of red. So the genetic information, the DNA, the genes that were there in one chromosome are getting mixed with the genes in the other chromosome. This is called genetic recombination. This is also called crossing over. Genetic recombination is also called crossing over. And this is the reason. Now genes are mixed. That is why you do not look exactly like your father. You do not look exactly like your mother. We inherit a combination of characteristics from our parents. We will understand the statement in a little while. Once that exchange of chromatids happens, then we see this kind of structure, an X-like structure here. This X-like structure is called a chiasma. So diplotin is that stage where chiasma is produced. Chiasma is formed. The synapse dissolves, but the chiasma is there. And slowly, the homologous chromosomes are separated. When they are completely separated, that is the end of the last phase. This process of separating is called diakinesis. Right? Leptotin, chromosomes condensed. Zygote, synapses are formed. Pakitine, crossing over happens. Recombination of the genetic material happens between the chromatids of homologous chromosomes. Diplotin, chiasma is formed. Diakinesis, homologous chromosomes are separated. Prophase 1 divided into 5 steps, the longest part of meiosis. Remember, this division is happening in germ cells. Remember also that genetic material is passed from one generation to another generation. Right? In sexual reproduction, the life starts with the combination of a male cell and a female cell, a male gamete and a female gamete, to form a full cell for the new organism. But before that cell is formed, the gametes need to be produced. So the males will produce the male gametes and the females will produce the female gametes. Now, when they are producing their male gametes and female gametes, Because of this process, this packitine step of prophase 1 of meiosis, they are not producing gametes which have exact copy of their genetic material, but they are recombining their genetic material. Because of that, when the male gamete comes from the male and the female gamete comes from the female, it is not the exact copy. It's a combination. Okay? So at one step, during the process of formation of the gamete, the genetic information is mixed. Later stage, which we will study more about in the next chapter, one part comes from the male, one part comes from the female, and when they combine, of course, there is combination of the genetic material. So we don't look exactly same as that, like our parents. Prophase 1 of meiosis 1. All the complicated information is complete. Now onwards, it's pretty straightforward. Now we enter the metaphase. In the metaphase, now the homologous chromosomes, which have already undergone crossing over, the genetic recombination, they align along the equatorial plane, and the homologous chromosomes are paired. So this blue one is homologous to this red one. Right? Same shape. In the anaphase, and yes, of course, in the metaphase, the spindle fibers are produced, and the spindle fibers connect each of the chromosome to one of the centriole. This is another difference. In case of mitosis, in metaphase, the spindle fibers connect every chromosome with both the centriole. But in this case, metaphase 1 of meiosis 1, each chromosome is connected to only one centriole. In anaphase, the spindle fibers contract. Because of that, the chromosomes move away from each other. They move towards the opposite poles. There is no splitting of chromosomes. In telophase 1, the nuclear membrane starts to reappear around the separated chromosomes, not chromatids, separated chromosomes. So see, just now see what happened. That although the chromatids were duplicated in the interphase, the chromosomes were not split. Actually, some chromosomes went into one set, and their homologous chromosomes went into the another cell, another nucleus. Now, if I ask you, what happened to the number of chromosomes? Suppose we started with 46 chromosomes in the original germ cell. How many chromosomes are here and how many are here now? We started with 46. How many chromosomes are there in each of the nuclei? Of course, half. 23 in one and 23 in the other one. And see the funny, interesting thing, important thing, that although the homologous chromosomes have separated, they have not separated cleanly. They have separated after recombination. So already things have become khichdi. Variety has stepped in. So at the end of telophase 1, there is a cytokinesis where these two nuclei become part of two different cells. They become two different cells. Now, the two cells that have been produced at the end of meiosis 1, they enter meiosis 2. Of course, there will be another karyokinesis and there will be another cytokinesis. How does that look? This is easy. Prophase 2, chromosomes condense. Metaphase 2, chromosomes align along the equatorial plane. Absolutely same as mitosis. But this mitosis is not happening in a normal cell. This mitosis is happening in cells which already have only half the number of chromosomes, and not half the number of original chromosomes, but half the number of recombined chromosomes. Then we move to anaphase, where the chromosomes split into chromatids and the chromatids move to opposite poles. Then we have the telophase, where the nuclear membrane reappears. And of course, at the end of telophase, cytokinesis happens, and each of the original cells splits into two. So at the end, we have 4 cells, not 2. We say that 4 haploid nuclei are formed. Why are we saying haploid? Haploid because each of these nuclei have only half the number of original chromosomes. That is why they are called haploid. In summary, pay attention now. In summary, what is happening in meiosis 1 is we start with a diploid cell. So when we say 46 chromosomes for human beings, 23 pairs, double, die. We have pairs of homologous chromosomes. So diploid cell divides into 4 haploid cells. The resultant is 4 cells, each having 23 chromosomes only. So there was only one duplication of chromatids, which happened before the start of meiosis, and there were 2 divisions of the chromosomes. Once the chromosomes were divided without splitting, then the chromosomes were divided by splitting. Another way of saying the same thing is one germ cells divides into 4 gametes. In case of male, we will say one germ cell divides into 4 sperms. In case of females, we will say one germ cell divides into 4 ova, O-V-A. Don't worry, we will learn about these words in detail in the next chapter. So, in effect, one cell, one diploid germ cell gives rise to 4 cells, gives rise to 4 haploid gametes. This is meiosis. Let us now look at some important concepts which are new to meiosis. We have already mentioned this while explaining meiosis, while understanding meiosis. Let us relook. Homologous chromosomes. All organisms have pairs of chromosomes. And these pairs, they look alike in shape, they are of the same type, and they also contain the same genes. What does it mean? It means every cell or our body has 2 sets of genes for everything. 2 genes for height, 2 genes for color, 2 genes for weight, all these things. Remember, we studied this in last year also, when you were studying about Mendel's experiments. And these chromosomes, which are of same shape, they look alike, they're of the same type, and they contain the same genes. Genes for the same characteristics, they are called homologous chromosomes. When the cell has all the homologous chromosomes, both pairs, it is called a diploid cell. Scientifically, mathematically, we say it has 2n number of chromosomes. That is, we have pairs of chromosomes. These are normal cells. After meiosis, the number of chromosomes is halved. So 2n divided by 2 is n. We have n number of chromosomes. That is only single chromosomes, not pairs of chromosomes. So in case of human beings, when we say a diploid cell, we have 2 into 23, 46 chromosomes. N is 23 for human beings. So a haploid cell of humans will have 23 chromosomes, and a diploid cell of humans will have 23 pairs of chromosomes, 23 and 46 chromosomes. Another important thing is crossing over or genetic recombination. This is mixing of genetic material between the chromatids of homologous chromosomes. In short, it is also called crossing over because it happens by crossing over of the chromatids. Technically though, what is happening is recombination of the genetic information. Does anyone now remember when does this happen? The genetic recombination. What is the exact name of the phase, stage, step of meiosis when this happens? You rightly identified after some effort that genetic recombination happens in the Pachytene stage of prophase 1 of meiosis 1 of meiosis that happens in germ cells. Okay. So now we have understood what is mitosis, how does it happen, where it happens, and why it happens. I hope you have these things in your head. Then we have also understood what is meiosis, how it happens, where in the sense, in what kind of cells it happens, and why is it necessary. I hope you do. If you don't, we will understand why it is necessary. So with that information in our bags, in our brains, let us now try compare and contrast mitosis and meiosis. Let us try to compare and not contrast, which means differentiate between mitosis and meiosis. Will be very useful if you can come out of mute and answer the questions. Now, if we compare and contrast mitosis and meiosis with respect to rounds of division, what is the difference? How many rounds of division happen in mitosis and how many rounds of division happen in meiosis? Speak or type. Speaking will be faster, but it's okay. Speak or type. How many rounds of division? Anushka, I understand why you have given that answer. So Anushka is saying 8 rounds of division in meiosis and 4 rounds of division in mitosis. I understand why you have given that answer, but that is wrong. How many rounds? While discussing today in the class, I have told you, I've given you the correct answer, right? I never said 8 rounds and 4 rounds. I'll show you the slide there where I mentioned that. On this slide, I was mentioning number of rounds of division. Anyone remembers how many rounds of division are there in mitosis and how many in meiosis? No one. Okay. So in mitosis, there is only 1 round of division, and 1 round of division consists of 1 karyokinesis and 1 cytokinesis. In meiosis, there are 2 rounds of division because there is one karyokinesis, cytokinesis, followed by another karyokinesis and cytokinesis. So there are 2 rounds of divisions. Anushka, please confirm that this makes sense now. I know how you counted 4 and 8. You counted prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, 4 for mitosis. Then you said prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1, prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2. So 8 rounds for meiosis. But no, that is not. 1 round is karyokinesis, cytokinesis. Okay, let us try the other. So this is one difference between mitosis and meiosis. Another, with respect to number of daughter cells that are produced, how many daughter cells are produced in case of mitosis and how many are produced in case of meiosis? Once again, Anushka, correct answer. In case of mitosis, only 2 daughter cells are produced. In case of meiosis, 4 daughter cells are produced. Okay. Karina, Prachi, if you just tell 4, then I don't know which cell division you are talking about. So mitosis is 2, meiosis is 4. Next, what is the ploidy of daughter cells? Ploidy refers to haploid or diploid. So what is the nature? What is the nature in terms of ploidy of daughter cells? Mitosis mein, are they haploid or diploid? In meiosis, the daughter cells are haploid or diploid? Correct, Anushka. So in mitosis, the daughter cells are diploid cells. In meiosis, the daughter cells are haploid cells. That's very correct. Next, in what type of cells do we see mitosis? What type of cells divide by mitosis and what type of cells divide by meiosis? सोचो याद करो बताओ. Which type of cells divide by mitosis and which type of cells divide by meiosis? Very good, Karina. So mitosis is used by somatic cells, not stomatic. It is somatic cells and stem cells, correct? And what remains is the germ cells. So germ cells divide by meiotic cells. So instead of remembering a lot of information, let us remember how they are, what are the aspects in which they are different. And then we will be able to do a good compare and contrast. We will be able to do a good differentiation. Finally, in the very beginning, we said we need cell division for 3 things. 3 words we used. Do you remember the 3 words? What is the purpose of cell division? I think one word was growth. What are the other 2 words? No? The other 2 words, yes, Anushka, another word is restoration. That is to replace the dead cells. Correct? What is the third thing? Reproduction. Excellent. Right? So we need cell division for growth, restoration, and reproduction. Now, out of mitosis and meiosis, which cell division is necessary for growth? You know the answer. Don't hesitate. No, Anushka, not meiosis. Why will we use meiosis? Arena, correct. We need mitosis for growth because we are producing same type of cells more and more. Which type of cell division will we need for restoration to create new cells of the type that have died already? That will again be mitosis. So what will be the use of meiosis? Meiosis is primarily needed for reproduction. Meiosis is primarily needed for producing gametes. So we can differentiate, we can compare and contrast mitosis with meiosis under these 5 main points. Of course, you can also say that in mitosis, there is only one prophase, one metaphase, one telophase, one anaphase, and then in meiosis, there are 2 of each. Yes, but that we are covering when we say 2 rounds of division compared with 1 round of division, right? Another very big difference is genetic recombination. So when in mitosis, the cells are exact copies of the daughter cells are exact copies of the parent cell. But in case of meiosis, the daughter cells are not exact copies of the parent cell. Okay? The 6th difference. Okay? With this, we complete the content for this chapter number 2, life processes part 1, where we studied about respiration, nutrition related to respiration, and cell division, in which we studied mitosis and meiosis. We can now answer the remaining questions in the exercise. Let us take a quick look. So this is the exercise page of your textbook, page number 21. We have answered most questions already. What is remaining is question number 1C in the fill in the blanks. Genetic recombination occurs in dash phase of prophase of meiosis 1. We discussed this again and again in the class. I hope more students will be able to answer this now. Which phase, which stage? Starts with a P and it is not prophase. One C, genetic recombination occurs in dash phase of prophase of meiosis 1. The correct answer, which some of you had identified after a lot of effort, is Pachytene. Pachytene phase of prophase of meiosis 1. That completes all the questions of question number 1. Very important question. In question number 2, we have already completed all parts. Very important question in question number 3, which is distinguish between mitosis and meiosis. Now you know what 6 points you have to write. We discussed it just now. We are not going to go through it once again. Question number 4, C. Cell division is one of the important properties of cells and organisms. This is very writing kind of question where we need to use some English and say how cell division is necessary for growth, restoration, and reproduction. Right? So we have to mention that. That is 4C. Then there are 2 long questions, 5C and 5D. I don't like these questions, 5C and 5D. 5C is that question which I was telling you, that it asks about the 5 stages of prophase 1 of meiosis: leptotin, zygotin, pachytene, diplotin, diacosis. And this information is not there in the textbook. So highly unlikely that this question will be asked in the exam, but the question is there in the textbook. 5D is another creative writing kind of question, which says how all the life processes contribute to the growth and development of the body. So we can mention about respiration, circulatory system, digestive system, cell division, and we can say how these life processes make our life possible. You know the answer already. It's only about bringing them all together in one paragraph. So you will try answer these questions as part of the homework. In addition, and which will be more important, is you will complete the notes, and the notes would be about meiosis and compare and contrast between mitosis and meiosis. Right? Complete it by tomorrow night. Tomorrow in the morning, we will study maths. We will continue with the geometric construction, and we will come back to science 2 on Saturday morning, where we will start chapter number 3, life processes part 2. That is it for now. That is it for